Hello again, everyone, and welcome back. You are watching the Vintage Sewing Machine Garage YouTube channel, and today I wanted to continue on with my inspection. Normally, I go through the machine and I do all my inspections, and then I start my cleaning. But today, as part of that inspection process, and again, these inspections are something you should do to your machine no matter what brand it is. This happens to be the Pfaff Model 30. I believe it's the first Pfaff 30 I've ever had. I've only had a few Pfaff machines on my channel. But today we're going to take a look at the hook. This is something you really can do as part of any inspection process, but I am particularly interested in inspecting the hook because a hook can get what are referred to as burrs, which is basically a sharp edge that should not be there, and they can happen for different reasons. But I showed you all in the last video that this needle is not perfectly perpendicular or straight. It has been bent or warped slightly towards the left at the bottom, and I could see it. It was like that when it was the needle that was installed in the machine. And I always replace needles anyway with new, but when I saw that, and that can happen because the needle has hit something, right? Sometimes I've had machines before where I had half a needle. The needle had literally broke. And so what I want to, main thing I want to do, I just realized something. I'll share with you in a moment. I'm going to have to laugh at myself for that. Anyway, we're going to look at the why you should inspect your hook. Now your hook, and this is a class 15, right? Shuttle hook. Okay, your shuttle is down below, and then the hook rides on what we call the race. I've shown that in other videos before. Now this hook looks like, a class 15 hook is nothing unusual. But what do we want to look at? Remember that where did that needle go? As your machine is stitching, okay, as your hook comes around, your hook is timed so that when the needle pulls its thread down, the hook comes and grabs it and helps to form a stitch. That's not a detailed description. The reason I'm mentioning this at all is because if the needle and the hook clash and they collide, a lot of times what will happen is the needle will either get broken or it will bend. But the needle we can replace pretty easily. That's not our problem. But I want to see, do I see any damage to the hook at all? So let's tilt this down just a bit. Give you folks hopefully a better view here. So what are we doing? We got some nice morning light here. I'm inspecting. What am I looking for? I'm looking for any area that feels rough, or sometimes you can see an area like this. Now this area here, right here on the side, these areas should be smooth on the side, I believe. Just want to make sure. I don't necessarily see any damage, but I want to make sure. Sometimes you can see literally this is the sharp, and it is sharp, believe me. The hook here, sometimes it will have a burr. Now a burr would be, is the word they use for basically a piece of, an area on the hook that is damaged. It feels rough, okay? So, if you take smooth steel and you hit it with something, you can get a rough surface, or not a cratered surface. That's a little strange way to describe it. But you want to make sure that your hook is happy, is in good shape, because if it's not, you can replace it. But using a hook that is damaged can create all kinds of problems. It can create problems with just forming a stitch. It can cause your thread to tear, and it can cause problems with the entire sewing mechanism. So this is something that I often tell people to inspect. I'm not seeing any, thankfully. So who knows? Maybe this poor needle got bent because maybe someone was trying to sew too much, because I've seen that happen. You've probably seen YouTube videos that some folks put on there claiming that old domestic vintage sewing machines can sew anything, and that's not true. That's overselling. Now, while we're here, we're going to take we're going to clean the shuttle hook and the bobbin case. But before we do any cleaning, because you see my little jar here, that's my 99% isopropyl alcohol. We're going to take the machine, and I've got a little piece of masonite like board here. I'm just pushing this machine away. I don't want that machine anywhere near this. Now, I'm very careful, and I've done this many times, but you know what? An ounce of prevention. You do not want this alcohol anywhere near that black finish. It'll ruin it instantly. It's not like you have time to wipe it up. It's just a silly risk to take. Don't do that. In fact, don't do that with any of your machines. Okay, so I've got my cotton swabs, no surprise, and I've got my two pieces. Now, before we start cleaning, since we're going to clean the bobbin case, the first thing I want to do is I want to remove the bobbin. Now, some of you may or may not remember this. When you take your bobbin out, okay, you've got the thread with the bobbin, and you still have your thread tail from when the bobbin case was threaded. And so what you're going to do is you're going to cut your thread right at the bobbin, and I need a pair of scissors for this. Sometimes repeating something is a useful thing. So again, we've got your bobbin case, right? You got your bobbin, cut the thread, and then you'll see the thread that was going into your bobbin, right? You see it under there because it's right under the spring of the bobbin, and on the front you see the thread tail. This is the thread tail that the bobbin had when it was first installed. You want to pull the thread toward the same direction. You don't ever want to go backwards. When something is under tension in a spring, you can actually cause harm to the device if you pull the thread out backwards. People have done it, yes, I know that, but it's just a good practice not to do that. And that is a lovely vintage Pfaffs Class 15 bobbin. A lot of the Necky bobbins also have this appearance. Anyway, okay, so we're going to clean, and we're going to start. We'll start with the hook here. And the hook is, again, they don't typically get horribly dirty, but they do build up stuff over time. So if I put that there, and I don't even know if you can see it. You may, if you can't see it, take, I've dipped my cotton swab in my 99% isopropyl. And you see that? Okay. Now, again, the machine was sewing it, and it still will. But this is a useful thing to do, because remember, these are the parts of the machine that are helping to form your stitch. And it's a useful exercise. Now, again, this is something that is a restoration thing. It's not something you need to do. You can inspect your hook. Yeah, you can inspect it once a year or whatever if you like, unless you're having problems with it. Most people don't. But, in for a penny, in for a pound here. This is especially, maybe you've got sewing projects planned and you want them to go well. Now, over here on this piece, we're going to come around this rim and just make sure that that's clean. Actually, it was not. You can see that, right? You say, well, it's just a tiny amount of filth or dirt. Yes, but remember, this hook is going to be rotating on the race. It seats into a rim and it has to spin. So we don't really want it to have to. Well, there's a little piece of filth right there, I think. Yeah. We don't want it to have to work unnecessarily hard. Now, when you come underneath the hook, if you watch, I'm going to take here. And this side, you really want to make sure that you've taken and gotten. There's a tiny groove there. It's hard to see, but there's old lint and probably a little oil that built up over who knows how long. I have seen machines function and sew, and maybe you folks have too, with a lot worse than this. But, you know, we are conserving these machines. We want them to last more generations than they already have. So why don't we bring them back to as full of operating condition as is possible? All right, so we look at the inside of the bobbin case. Say, well, it doesn't look too bad, but I see, you guys see down in there, you see a little crud. Well, don't forget your bobbin is spinning in there. The first thing I do is I take a dry cotton swab, because I can pull stuff out just with the dry fibers of the cotton there. You can also use a precision tip, which will give you a little bit more of a finer point, and you can see, again, I'm pulling out some stuff. Again, it's not bad. I've seen worse, but now I'm going to take a cotton swab, dab it in the alcohol, and I'm just going to come. You don't have to press hard. You're not trying to scrub or grind anything here. We just want to, you know, clean it as best we can. There's something in there that looks a little odd to me, and I'm going to take just gently. I'm not trying to scratch anything. Gently, see if there's anything stuck in there. Not really coming up with anything. All right, so again, this is my 99% alcohol, and sometimes, you know, you can actually let it sit in the alcohol if you want, if it's that bad. This one is not that bad. So now, the other thing you want to check is here. Remember, when you pull the tab to release the bobbin case off of the hook, the shuttle there, so you can take it out to load and unload. You'll see there's sliding parts here. If I can hold it still long enough, you can see as I pull, right? You see the pieces on the other end. This whole mechanism up here is sliding. So in order to make sure that it continues to want to slide without any undue strain, we just go in here, and I'm taking my cotton swab. There's only so much of this you can get to. You don't want to cause harm to this thing. You can see I pulled off some old crud there just by touching it with the alcohol. And then I'm going to come on this side, and you want to do this very carefully. Do not take this tab and start, bending it with a great deal of force. Remember, it's on a spring. So I'm just going to take here and roll the cotton swab around, and oh, look at that. Who knew that there was filth under there? Look at that, right? Because I'm trying to do the best I can to make sure that this machine is as clean as possible. And then once we've done that, now there's only one other area here. This is kind of an odd thing to do. I'm going to hold it with one hand, and I'm just, looking for anything that's going to prevent this spring from moving, because it's supposed to move when you open and release. When you are trying to get it installed or uninstalled out of the machine to change your bobbin. Now, again, don't pull any further than this. You really don't want to do that. But there are areas here when I pull back, a part of this moves. So I'm going to take my alcohol swab and just come here, and that's about it. I mean, that's all you can do, because this is a nice healthy spring. When I pull on it like this, it's in fantastic shape, and you want it to stay that way. So again, when we go to put them back in, I'll talk more about how to oil them. Oiling these parts is not something you do often, and you definitely don't put a lot of oil on them. So it's a little different than other parts of the machine that we might oil. But they do need some. They just don't need it often, and they don't need a lot. So good news on the hook. The hook is in good shape in spite of that somewhat deformed needle that I found. So I hope this was helpful for any of you who may have not even Maybe you didn't even know what the hook was. Some of you may, some of you may not. And as I move forward here, we're going to hopefully make progress on the Pfaff Model 30, the German machine made in England. If you have not, please subscribe to the channel. You can click the subscribe button. And if you find anything on this channel useful, please consider donating to my Buy Me a Coffee fund. You can just click on any of these video links and you'll see the Buy Me a Coffee link there. And anything you can donate would be helpful for me as I continue to expand the number of machines that I hope to rescue and then showcase here on the channel, which hopefully will inspire those of you out there watching to take on the same hobby. And if you're not interested in restoring machines for others, at least you can restore your own. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.